Welcome to my studio here on the South Shores of Boston, Massachusetts. Well, it's another Saturday and it's beautiful out, but I want to spend some time with you in my studio today just to fill you in on what has happened during this past week. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you. I've gotten emails, DMs, some chats about the two, things that are deep in my heart, and I like to share them with you all, and you know that. CreativeCapital.org. I've talked a lot about Creative Capital this week. They do so much for the arts, lots of funding for the arts, especially during this time of COVID. The arts have been impacted, and Creative Capital has jumped in and they have helped out. So I've been talking about them all week, and you have responded with your generosity, so I'd like to say thank you for that. Also, a lot of feedback. Another thing that I hold near and dear to me is I'm trying to change the way I operate in my studio in creating zero waste art. And that's not easy. And a lot of people don't take it seriously. I am trying to take it seriously by creating zero waste art. So all week I've talked to you about that. Well, what is zero waste art? People still email me, what is zero waste art? So a couple simple steps. Recycled paper. I love the medium of newsprint, so I do a lot of work on newsprint, so New York Times. So I recycle my paper. I have been purchasing inks that are environmentally safe and friendly and recycled, but I'm surrounded with woods here, so I've been foraging through the woods and finding earthen type things that I could make pigment with, and it's been a challenge, but I've tried it, it's worked. So when I create a piece, I specifically say it's a zero waste piece. So it consists of recycled paper, recycled or homemade inks or paints. The brushes that I use were reclaimed. I think I mentioned in a post, I don't know, it was last week or the week before, I found this big bucket of brushes. They were trashed, and they were in the trash, but I took the bucket and I picked out the brushes that I think I could clean up and reuse. So I use reclaimed brushes, and then, like I said, I'm just thinking about art differently, rethinking how my studio is used, what I'm using in my studio, how do I clean in my studio, how do I clean my paints, how am I being environmentally safe. So I continue to work on that, and I continue to promote it to create awareness around that issue. So you'll continue to see any artwork that is zero waste will be marked. Please support me in my efforts, purchase that artwork. That directly helps me continue to rethink how I use my studio and how I can be environmentally conscious in the use of my studio and in the creation of my artwork. So thank you for that. And then one last thing. I have a piece that's being shipped out. This was purchased a couple weeks ago. This is part of my photo journal collection. Sorry if there's a glare on this. It's a very shiny piece. This is the one and only original Fallen. It's printed on metal. You can see how thin that is. It has the hanging devices in the back. It'll be probably 1/4 inch, so it'll look like it's floating on the wall. But it's quite stunning. It turned out even better than I thought it would. Congrats to the person who purchased this. It's going to look quite lovely in their home. So a shout out to them. Thank you for your continued support in my artwork. And that's it for this week. Just a brief vlog I'll see you next week. Stay creative.